Hey, what is up, good people? Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about keeping your wits about you, or as I like to say, keep your head up and your chin down, right? We got work to do, and now is a phenomenal time to get it through. So, before we get too much further, I want to introduce my friend Janet E. Johnson. Today, the E stands for engagement, which is one of the things that we're always trying to help you get more of on the socials. Don't you think so, Janet E. Johnson?
We talk a lot about it. We talk a lot about video. Which obviously creates engagement, and yeah, we talk a lot about engagement.
We
So it's
do. We
not
do.
we're talking social media engagement, not this kind of engagement. We don't care about that. Jerry and I
Note,
got over that a long time ago.
note, she points to ring and said, flashes the rock, and been like, yo, not this kind. So she fancy, huh? So yeah, it's kind of a crazy time right now. We're still kind of in the middle of this. It's late April. We don't normally throw a date on this, but if you listen to me talk about that, I probably said that about 700 times during our past shows. But it's late April. I was talking to some buddies last night. I don't even think we're in the eye of the hurricane yet. So as hurricanes go through, the eye is kind of in the center of it, and that feels like it might be the halfway point. I don't think we're there yet on version one. All that being said, I think it's important that we keep focused on our tasks, on our goals, and on what we're trying to do. I've said 3 dozen times, if you don't come out of this thing better than you went into it, you wasted way too much time. So let's talk a
Good
little
point.
bit about productivity. Let's talk a little bit about mindset. Let's talk about keeping that chin down and that head up, right? Because you got to keep your head up. You got to stay somewhat positive. It's really
With the
easy.
mask. Just kidding.
Yeah, put the mask on. Get your trikini. We're ready to go. Janet, can you tell everybody what a trikini is in case they missed it?
Well, basically a bikini with a mask. Number 3 is the mask. Exactly.
Get that matching mask so you look cool wherever you go. But you
Uh,
gotta, if you're not doing that, you can get sucked in way too hard, way too fast. Um, I gotta hold on for a second. It's
oh,
driving
no
me
problem.
nuts. Go, so cover
He's
for me.
got,
The
yep.
dogs are freaking out.
He's got dogs, but you know what? That's part of the being at home. It's like having the dogs, having the cats, having everybody home, the kids from school. There's a lot going on that we have to handle. I've had to do a lot of homework, so spent a lot of extra time. And many of you, I'm sure, have spent a lot of extra time with your kids, helping them with their homework. So that's like another part-time job that you have on the side is homeschooling your own children. And if you have little ones, I can't even imagine because that's it's a tough thing to handle. And I actually just watched that funny video about Barb Corcoran, and she's talking about, having the time with your kids, is a wonderful thing. Not really.
It's I've been super fortunate, and never so thankful to have 3 levels of a house.
Yes, we
Yeah.
talked about that before. Yes, I mean, the more space you have, the more, Terry lives on a lake, which is very fortunate. You have a beautiful view. I live on farmland, so I have like a lot of space. But I mean, think about the people living in a little apartment, or you know what I mean? That's tough. You really gotta make your space enjoyable, I think, and make it. I just redecorated my whole kitchen with flamingos because I love flamingos and it makes me happy. Beach scenes and all that kind of stuff, so that because we have to spend so much time in there. Make your surroundings. I think that's a great way to stay positive too. Oh, and by the way, I got a new pink chair. Can you see my pink chair?
I see that.
It's hold on. And the reason I did pink is because, well, I like pink, but it's a basic chair, but it's ergonomic friendly because I have such a bad back and it's so
Yes.
much better on my back.
Is
But the
it?
bottom line is those are things that do little things that make you happy. Maybe order on Amazon more. I mean, whatever it may, I'm a shopper, so it makes me happy to have things come to my house because I can't go shopping, you know?
Retail therapy is a thing, right?
Exactly.
Retail
Exactly.
therapy. Yeah, I was saying to my wife yesterday, I'm like, should we be hiding these Costco boxes? Because like I'm at a mild concern that at some point people are gonna start looting each other, right? And our garage is like a fucking grocery store. there. I don't normally drop the F-bomb on this, but I can only use it to exemplify how much stuff is in there, man. If you need TP, I got your butt covered.
Oh my gosh.
It's
He's
ridiculous.
finally kind of becoming, now it's the hair color and the hair stuff is being desperate, and yeah, I don't know, but
Got
yeah.
my playoff beard going because I feel like this is until we win, right?
Oh,
Until we beat this thing. I hope I don't end up looking more like Santa Claus.
you might have like the big,
Like,
huge beard going on. Oh my, scary.
good.
Well,
I
that's
didn't
good
know I
for
could grow
you.
this well of a beard, this good of a beard.
So
So
tell me, Jerry, then why are you doing the beard? Like you're gonna not do it until when?
I'm going to do it until at least until the executive order in the state of
Okay.
Michigan is released. But we'll see what that means, because the reality is, uh, I'm not letting a politician dictate when I go outside. Right. That's not your rules and your mandates. I appreciate how they can help control other people. I'm a thinking individual. I don't need you to tell me what to do. I'm smart enough to do it on my own.
But there are stupid people.
Plenty of stupid people.
That's the
And
problem. Yeah, it's the people that aren't smart, like that, yeah, will ruin it for everyone else. And that's the sad thing. Yeah.
I like, I mean, I knew we always had a bunch of bravado in this country. I didn't know just how much silliness we had and selfishness. That's the piece that's like, so many people are only out for them and their own interest. I really thought we were a little bit more communal than that. And I'm fiercely liberal, right? And not in the Democrat sense of the word, because we liberal and conservative are like on a north and south axis, and Democrat and Republican are on an east and west axis. They don't even really relate to each other, right? It's just about the idea: are you more about yourself, or are you more about the good of the group? And I'm so focused on the good of the group that it baffles me that people are like, no, we have to go out and buy seeds now. Like, okay, how about stay in and buy seeds? Because you could order them from Amazon and they would just come to your house.
That's
And
true. That's
meanwhile, it's
true.
been 13 degrees here, so who cares? But that's a whole different conversation. So I don't know how this is helping anybody stay positive, Janet E. Johnson. No,
I
I'm just,
know. Okay, so we talked a lot about the negativity, and by the way, I just realized this is the okay. Here's a positivity, and then we're gonna get into your theory of the positivity. But here's the positivity that I'm saving a bunch of time, but I just realized in 10 minutes I have a dermatologist appointment for my son on the phone, and that's saving me like 2 hours of time driving to it. Yeah, but I totally forgot. So we have 10 minutes to talk positivity because she's going to be calling. So,
because you got stuff to do.
but that's
It's an
pretty
interesting
cool.
thing, right? How many businesses are going to be
Yes.
changing, right?
Yes.
I was talking to, I was scrolling through Facebook this morning and saw a friend of mine said something about building a thing for a virtual event, which is really high on my radar because TEDx Detroit is scheduled for September 30th. I don't know how I'm going to feel about trying to get thousands of people to come to an event in September. And I certainly don't know what it's going to look like in September. It may not be able to happen. And even if it could, I don't know that I'd want it to. And so it's just
Yeah.
I like the rebound of this thing is more scary than the reality of it today. So thinking it through is like, hey, virtual event, how do you stream that? What does that look like? So if you're in the event
Yeah.
space, you better be rethinking your business. If you're in the commercial office furniture space, you're probably going to need to rethink your business. I don't think I'd want to be selling office furniture right now. Right? That doesn't seem like a good idea. Buying used office furniture, maybe, but selling it is going to be an issue. If you're somebody that's a doctor or some kind of therapist, I was our friend Rebecca Bass,
Yeah.
Rebecca Ching. I just was reading a post of hers talking about how she's moved all of her coaching clients to virtual. Right. And that's what you have to do. Telemedicine's going to be huge. Had no idea, 3-4 years ago when somebody first approached me with how do we market this and how do we make this happen. Boy, oh boy, good for them. They're in the right spot at the right time.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
so for you, not you, Janet, but you, everyone,
Yeah.
think through the limitations of your current business model, right? For me as a speaker, I'm not speaking at events, so I'm turning things to webinars. I'm actually using ClickFunnels, Janet E. Johnson, and developing little 30-minute webinars and getting people in, and I'm working on just growing that audience and getting more people onto the list, and then figuring out what's the right hook, right? So I've got some jabs out there now. What's that right hook? So it's an interesting time to really
It is.
be thinking through who you are, what you do, who you serve, why they care, and how can you deliver it to them from the most comfortable seat in your house, because that's the world we're going to be in for at least a while. I don't know. I don't even want to speculate as to how long.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. We don't know. We don't know, but
We don't know.
it's not tomorrow that things are going to be changing. So we definitely have to just get used to this world of, the positive side is Zoom. Well, the negative side is we didn't buy Zoom stock.
That's true. That is true.
But
What's the
the
Zoom stock
positive
at now?
side is there are so many tools like this. Terry and I were just joking about like thinking back to our senior year because we went to high school together. And just if we had had no senior, but there was no communication like there is today. And, even my son, he hasn't missed his friends that much because they chat almost every day online, and there's different methods. So we have to think about that. And there's just things are going to change. For instance, travel. There was a guy I was just talking to, and he travels 100% of his business is travel. Since this happened, they've already decided that when it goes back, they're cutting that in half. They've realized that they can do it without having to travel 100% of the time. So they're going to go 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off, And I
Mhm.
think a lot of businesses are rethinking because they were forced to. But bottom line is it's a changing thing, and it could be years before it goes back to normal, but it can be a good thing. And I think it definitely is a positive thing if you take advantage of, how can you do things differently?
It's absolutely a positive thing, right? Greatness is built in down times. You think about a decade ago and stuff that came out of that, and it's marvelous. And 2 decades ago, listen, the one thing that's super consistent is that our economy goes like this and then picks right back up and goes like this. I mean, it's fallen off a cliff so many times. I just did a podcast with a friend of mine, Leon Lebrecht, and we talked about the PPP, and we talked about the CARES Act, and we talked about the EIDL, but we also talked about money and the myth of money and who gets that money to give to us and who do we have to pay back and where does it come from. And we really wax philosophically about a lot of financial issues that, quite frankly, I'm not overly versed in. And so talking to the smartest guy I've ever met, who happens to be particularly smart in that space, and I can ask questions and he can give feedback and answers, it was a great show, right? In fact, we should probably put it up on Business Growth Time. It's worth doing.
You should, and then we'll also drop it in the show notes too. Yes.
Yeah, might be worth it. But
And
the important part is he said we always come through these things
yeah,
like 100% of the time. The same thing to you if you're listening to this right now. Every struggle you've ever gone through, you've made it through. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this right now. So ultimately, keep your head high, keep your chin down, get working on the shit that you know you need to do to build a better you. Because listen, man, Tiger King, while it might be a nice distraction, it is not helping you build anything. Janie Johnson, did you see it? Janet E. Johnson's nodding. She's not saying the shit out loud, but she's nodding. I'm I'm gonna wait till next year. I'm gonna wait till next year.
I watched the whole thing. I just had to for the humor of it, but yeah. So yeah, but Tiger King has been a great distraction for a lot of people. I actually
Sure.
saw the best Facebook ad ever. They kind of brought the Tiger King into the ad. It was so I mean, it was so creative. I was like, I took a screenshot because I'm like, this is great. I mean, it was great. So, you could, you make fun of these things. And bottom line is, you know, it's a roller coaster. I just posted something about a roller coaster ride. And, being in business for ourselves, I believe we've always been on roller coaster rides. There's the ups, there's the downs. I think for some people, this is a bigger shock because maybe, if you haven't been in business for yourself and have always had the solid job and then all of a sudden it's out from under you, that's a different story, But I think a lot of people we're talking to here are business owners, and it's just, there's the roller coaster. This is a big dip, like your big giant dip, but maybe that means it's going to be the biggest up we've ever seen.
So, as we talked about, right? The recovery is going to look like a V, a W, a U, or an L. A V is a sharp down and a sharp up. A W is, boom, boom, and a rebound and comes back. And then a U is it kind of flatlines for a little bit, then comes back up. And then an L is you're dead. So time to wrap this show up and hope
There you
there's no
go.
L.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Awesome. All
On a
right.
positive note.
Find us at businessgrowthtime.xyz for our Facebook group or businessgrowthtime.com/podcast for our all our past podcasts. And Terry, thank you. This was a good conversation. It was just a conversation that we had, but I want you guys to take advantage of staying positive and seeing what you can do to make your world better after all this is past and done.
Let
All
us know
right.
how we can help.
Have a good one.